Hey everyone, I'm Jay from Box Gods. Hope everyone's having a great time being their best self today. I'm broadcasting to you from the SSS Cheesy Green Screen. I'm here to talk to you about a great new game I've been working on for over a decade. Right now it's called Project Downfall. Before I get started, I want to clarify that I love modern trading card games. I don't think there's anything wrong with a company using a business model that makes money. I've been playing Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Since I was old enough to even have a hobby. That said, and as a product designer, I took note of a few things about trading card games over the years that I would do completely differently. First, I want characters that players actually care about. Magic broke ground with this concept with Planeswalkers, which are incredibly cool cards with diverse lore. I want to take that a step further, and I'll explain how in a bit. Second, I want to eliminate the coin toss advantage, where a match can be determined based on who gets to decide who goes first. I looked into this very thoroughly and found that players with a 3-0 or higher record at major events are 78% more likely to lose their streak in a match where they lose the coin toss. That's huge. Third, I want to reward players who practice. Skill is important in any trading card game, but the choices you make in a game usually are not hard. There's not much prediction involved, and everything's pretty much self-explanatory and depends on what you draw. Fourth, I want to give players cards that will always be competitive. I want to ensure that a player who can't invest hundreds of dollars into a card game every few months can still play with a deck that they love. Inversely, I want players to have moved on to newer cards. Of course, I want people to find things they love. But when they do so, I want them to be able to pass their decks on to siblings, friends, cousins, or whoever, with confidence that the new owner can still play incredibly with it. Hate the idea of a power creep. I hope you agree with me on that. Fifth, and the final point I'll make today, and though definitely not the last concept I built into the game, I wanted to create a card game where every playstyle has pros and cons. I want to reward players who deep draw into their decks, obviously, but I also want there to be drawbacks that are noticeable in doing so. This way, any archetype in the game will be completely player-made. These 5 points would ideally create a game with likable, unique characters, fair gameplay, a rewarding experience, retained value in cards, and weight behind your actions. So the question becomes, how do we get there? Well, let me introduce the character battle system. This system of gameplay bridges the gap between trading card game and RPG. You are the character you're playing with instead of controlling an army of creatures. Each character has a playstyle effect that rewards you for playing in certain ways, and the deck itself are the moves that you use. Let's look at Sol and Daniel here. Sol uses fire skills. He can heal 1 point per turn, and if you play 3 fire skills in one battle, Sol heals an extra point at resolution. Daniel can use shadow skills. He can switch 1 defense in your hand for 1 defense from your deck, once per turn. And if you play 3 shadow skills in one battle, you can recover 1 defense to your hand at resolution. Now these third effects are what I'm looking at here. They're dynamically different from one another, although they have similar ignitions. You can wonder from these that if characters are rewarded for playing a specific way, what's stopping them from playing exclusively that way? And that brings me to my second and third points: eliminating the coin toss and rewarding players who practice. Players don't take turns in this game. Instead, like a real fight, players are acting at the same time. It's still organized. Players place 3 cards face down each turn, and they activate them in sequence at the same time. Some cards are designed to directly counter others. Successfully predicting what your opponent's going to do can reward you greatly. While at the same time, if you can predict your opponent is going to try to interrupt your play, you can hold your ace cards for a more favorable situation. After maintaining card value and deck competitiveness over time, there will never be a single card release that is notably more powerful than the others. You'll be able to change your playstyle, but you won't ever be required to. The only benefit to changing to a new character will be wanting to do so. Maybe you like the new character, or maybe you want to have something fresh that other players won't be as experienced with facing. Finally, creating a playstyle where every decision has weight was hard to do, but I realized the best way to do it would be to make the action of searching the cost itself. Players will have decks of 40 to 50 cards. The deck itself is your life counter, and any discarded card goes to the damage pile. Players lose when their deck's depleted. This means that by searching for or drawing a card, the player is exhausting their character. The harder you push, the faster you burn out. And there you have it. That's the basic summary of Project Downfall. I'm glad you took the time to watch the video, and I'm 100% happy to answer any questions you can have. After all, I'm making this game for you, and I don't plan on launching unprepared. I want there to be organized play from day one. If you want to go to your local card shop and play this game, if they carry the products, I want them to have the means to hold the tournaments. I want a regional event to be within 90 days of launch. Most card games that fail do so because they're not prepared to hit the ground running. They don't have organized play. And so I plan to hit the ground at full sprint. I'm hoping everyone here has a great week. And, just every day try to be the best you. Look forward to Downfall, and I hope to hear from you as much as you hear from me.